Welcome back to the AI Ripple Effect podcast, everybody. Today, we're joined by James Blackman, who is the managing partner of Cocoon FMS. Welcome to the podcast, James. Good to have you here.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Why don't you start by giving us a bit of background about yourself, your journey to where you are today, a little bit about Cocoon FMS and what products you provide, and then who you serve from a customer base.
Sure, yes. I'm James Blackman. I'm a co-owner of Cocoon FMS. We're a logistics software provider is the easy way to describe it. But my background actually is from a freight forwarding background. So I started off as a booking clerk and did various different roles for a company called Kuehne+Nagel. I left there some time ago to set up a digital marketing agency. And one of the things we always wanted to do through a paid project was to work on some tech for logistics industry, as we knew how far behind the industry was tech-wise. Even Kuehne+Nagel was quite far behind. And then from that, we got a client and we realized that we got some legs in the product we developed, which was a customer portal. Launched that 2 weeks before lockdown, which was really handy, which then actually proved how vital a portal was for the logistics industry. Then from that, we built 3 other products and we started to disrupt the market a little bit with the freight forwarding side.
Excellent. And your customer base mostly is freight forwarder community?
Yes, we've got 4 products. So 3 of them are dedicated for logistics industry, and we got a 4th product, which is a demurrage and detention calculator, which ideally is for retailers and anyone who brings in sea freight and potentially air freight into the UK or any market. But it's really to shine a light on operational process and costs, whereas the freight forwarders will hide behind the demurrage and detention, say they don't have it, but just pass the costs on with a little bit of markup to the end user. It's a little bit of a one version of the truth when it comes to pricing.
Got it. And it seems that at the moment, the market is fluctuating globally with various factors like tariffs, for example. But what are you seeing from a trend perspective, both within your specific sector, but more broadly across logistics at the moment?
I think it's very cautious at the moment. There is a hell of a lot of uncertainty, and it doesn't help with what's going on in the Red Sea, tariffs, and generally in the globe. Freight forwarders are traditionally very conservative in the way they approach the market. They like to see themselves as technology driven, etc., but they're very risk averse. It's often or not, if something's working, don't change, because costs are really a big thing. At the moment, it's a bit of a race to the bottom so you can provide the cheapest price rather than looking at the service and the technology offering. The newer forwarders coming out, the new startups, are a little bit more agile, a little bit more focused on what they can automate quicker and what they can do, because they can realize that actually you can make a lot more profit using technology rather than using existing legacy systems. So cautious, I think, is probably the word at the moment.
And do you still see that big push for, we talk about being conservative, is there still a big push to reduce the cost line item on a balance sheet? Is it a key focus on the margin?
Yeah, it's key focus on the margin. It's how they can maximize it. And they're almost going from crawling to sprinting by trying to jump into AI, but they're just about getting used to spreadsheets and basic automation. I think, it's just a little bit difficult for them to understand, I think.
Interesting. And you touched upon it there regarding AI. What is your take on AI in logistics from a positive perspective around things like cost, but also potentially from a negative, disruptive perspective around labor markets?
I don't think it's going to affect the labor market in logistics at all. You're always going to need operators. In terms of the AI space, there's a lot of people saying there's a lot of AI and automation out there. And there is some really good tools and some really good pieces of AI out there. But I think at the moment, it's just picking through what is AI and what actually isn't. And that's quite difficult, even from a technology point of view. You think something's going to be like AI, LLM or whatever. But I think a lot of logistics companies will jump onto something that they think is AI, but which potentially could cause them a few problems further down the line. I'm finding it from particularly a research point of view that the accuracy isn't there. Even from a lazy coding point of view, you'd think AI would be able to produce something quite smart and quite polished. No, it has to be taught. And I think that's the bit people don't understand.
No, I agree. I mean, it is that guide ropes from the right prompting architecture, I think, which is critical in getting the value from these systems. I think you're absolutely right, 100%. And are you leveraging it heavily within your own space, James?
We use bits and bobs. So we partnered with a few AI based companies, one around cargo insurance, Breeze AI, and we also use we'll be using iCustoms, which again uses AI. And those are just about the ability to speed up processes, like with insurance quotes, for example. You would normally have to go to a broker, wait a day, get a quote, maybe some toing and froing, whereas with Breeze AI, it does all of that automatically, so you can get a quote within a matter of seconds. And then the same with iCustoms with CDS and customs, it speeds up the process. We've got algorithms within our process which calculates carbon, for example. It's a form of AI, not total AI. I would be lying to say it would be, but we will be utilizing AI in our systems, but more from a help perspective and using it where you can control the responses a little bit more and also provide better feedback.
And about Cocoon FMS and your journey so far, what have been the key milestones in where you've come from and where you are today?
The key milestones is the ability for us to actually react to market decisions quite quickly. The key milestone for us is winning an innovation grant from the Department of Transport for our demurrage and detention calculator, which helped us actually to expedite the build on our transport management system and also to improve our carbon calculator. So we got a fair bit of cash. It's public knowledge. I think it was 120, and we're able to use that to bring on the right resource short term, get the product to where we wanted to do. And one of the key things we did right at the start was map out where we wanted to be in 5-10 years time and think about what tech is available now, what is likely to come in the future. So the architecture of the design of the product has been well thought out. I think we had about 2 years of looking at what to do before we put a line of code in. And when we put the line, started building it, it was rapid because we knew exactly what we needed to do. And that was from my knowledge as freight forwarder, working on systems. And then Glenn, business partner, from a UX point of view, nailed the user journey and how the journey of the user is critical to how a system works. So using two pieces of key knowledge made it very easy for our developers to go, okay, we just need to put that in and make it modular as well. So it's really quick to build.
Excellent. Really good. And what have been your biggest challenges in the journey so far for Cocoon FMS? And do you see a mirroring of certain challenges in your customer base?
It's actually getting it to market is the biggest challenge. With the caution, everyone thinks SaaS-based products is you build it, they will come sort of thing. It doesn't happen. And having run a marketing company as well, the buying process is quite long because you've got contracts of existing TMS and existing incumbents to get through. You've then got to build up the trust. And being quite a new company as well, it's building that trust to say that we're going to be here in 10 years' time. And it's then getting them over the line. And we found the buying cycle for software, and we've seen it with other platforms, it's about 9 to 12 months. So you do an awful lot of marketing to start with, which companies don't do. And then it's then, okay, then suddenly you start getting traction. And we're starting to see that now. And it is that slow. I would say with any startup, cash is the biggest hurdle. And being self-funded, it just takes that a little bit slower to get to market. If we had £1 million, we could go to market next day and chuck a load of sales resource at it. Reality, that doesn't happen.
And have you found that you've had to pivot your product much based on an ever-changing customer environment? I'm sure you're familiar with things like the EU Omnibus iteration, where they sort of came back a little bit from sustainability, for example, the tariff environment, as you mentioned earlier, in the Middle East, issues around there. Are you keeping a steady course with the product, or are you having to change much?
We've changed tact a little bit. When we've seen originally we were going to build our own customs module, and we thought to ourselves that would be a good way forward. And then we realised that actually building for something which is new anyhow is going to take up an awful lot of developer time. So we pivoted from that and thought, well, let someone else do the heavy lift. So get a party in to do that and integrate with that via API is the easiest solution. And we have pivoted based on really customer demand on what we put into the system. So we've got a very, very structured development plan. But the way we built the system is that we can jump into different modules and build those depending on what the customer needs. So we could go and build something which isn't going to be used for another 6 months.
Yeah.
Pointless. Let's build what the customers want at the moment, and then we can just bolt in what we need to do. I think that answers your question.
That's good. That's great insight. And what are your plans for the next 12 months for Cocoon FMS? What do you have in your key milestones looking forward?
So we're looking to finish off 2 particular modules, which will then make our transport management system sort of complete as a full product. So that's going to be auto rating, which should be done very, very quickly. And then what we call a network module, which is more for 3PLs to manage their fleets. And then a driver app, which will deploy within the next 3 to 6 months, which will then give a full end-to-end solution for a logistics company. It may happen quicker. We know exactly what we need to do. We've got modules of it already built. It's just then compiling it and then putting it to market. And then potentially looking at WMS solutions as well, warehouse management. So from the marketing side of things, we built wholesale e-commerce platforms. So we got the pick and pack technology. It's then just, okay, using that tech, how can we apply that with what we've already got? So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and we hope to make a massive dent into the market in the next 12 months as well. So start really disrupting it. We're disrupting it at the moment, so we're going to continue.
And for the people out there listening and watching who are interested and want to look up what Cocoon FMS do, where can they go, James?
Well, very prevalent on LinkedIn, so you can search for me, but our website is www.CocoonFMS.com. And if you just Google Cocoon FMS, Cocoon Ops, or Cocoon Dem, or Cocoon DMP, you'll find our products.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you very much, James. I'll make sure we include those links into the description of this podcast. Thank you for all your insights and sparing the time today to share those. For everybody out there, thanks for joining. We'll see you in the next episode of the AI Ripple Effect. James, for now, thank you very much.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you.